call the Fourmers, Fourmers. How did you come up with it?
Oh God, it was a list of a million, but I think we need to
Yeah.
credit Doug for this one. Doug,
Yep.
Doug threw out the name, and we all stopped in our tracks and went, "That's it."
Yeah, there was a text thread that was going on ad nauseum, and Jeff's not kidding. There were hundreds of names being thrown out, and we were really getting down to the wire where we needed to start announcing the show. And I think it was kind of a last minute act of desperation where that I had that light bulb moment, and I thought, we're former Jersey Boys, former Four Seasons. There's the four. We're Fourmers, and
Hmm.
I think it was one of three that I sent out, like maybe the morning that we had to decide. And fortunately, everyone agreed, and here we are, the
Well,
Fourmers.
that's kind of like how it happened with Sherry,
Right.
the way it's depicted in the show, It kind of came down to the wire like that, Nick and I do a quick head arrangement, we sing it the crew, and the whole world explodes,
Exactly.
So that's really, really cool. I I I think you guys should have gone with the Four Felons, but
Yeah.
It was only 3 years. I got out on good behavior.
I think it hit a little too close to home.
Well, so Lou, how did you get on board?
Oh, it was just around right before New Year's Eve, early December of last year. So just a few months now, of about a half of a year. Half a year, actually, that sounds pretty nice, doesn't it?
Hmm.
But I guess the fifth former, the co-founder and co-producer, a good friend of ours, Sal Cucco, and I had been friends for a long time. And they were looking for someone at the last minute, right? There were some changes, as happens in show business. Sometimes the understudies go in and this and that, but in a group like this, obviously there are no understudies, right? It's four guys, and they're all going 100%. So when it was an opportunity to come in, I said, yeah. I mean, I love Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons. I've been touring around the world with my own shows and concerts, which I noticed in the notes you'll get to. But so the material was in my heart, let's say. And I really wanted an opportunity also to sing with a group again. It had been a while. I was part of the Las Vegas Tenors for a few years, and I'm really good friends with their owner, and still support that group as I can. But it was time for new project, new material, new experience, and it was New Year's Eve, and I was off for the first time in how many 12 years. So it just worked out. Everything fell together, and I kind of had to be put through the vetting process, as I'm sure we may or may not know or get to. But I am not an official member of the Broadway production of Jersey Boys. I had auditioned 5 times and made it towards the end and all the good stuff, but never was part of the show. I was down the street in a different show at that time. But so it was also kind of my final audition, I guess, to steal Jeff's line there. And it really was, in a way, at least for me, to say, hey, can I overcome that major hurdle for a group that is supposed to be for former members, right? So how do we make that work? And I think my persistence, the never give up line, was it, because I don't think that if I hadn't had that many auditions for the show and that love for the show and wanting to be part of it so badly, that the story, it might not fit, it might not work, but it all kind of fell into place, and I'm really thankful that it did.
Wow.
Lou is our Energizer Bunny.
Hey,
That's it.
girl.
That's it.
Well, it sounds like it worked out beautifully, and we've watched clips of all of you performing together, and it's amazing.
Sounds
You guys sound
phenomenal.
great together.
So tight. So
Yeah.
in the
It's so funny, when Lou started telling that story, I was immediately flashing to the Pesci Gaudio scene where Sal is running in and saying to Lou, "The Fourmers are looking for a fourth." The who?
Sal's the tallest Pesci we've ever had.
Yeah, he's like 2 Pesci stacked on top of one another.
That's so funny. Well, how many shows have you done together? Because it seems like you guys started in January last year. Is that right?
Was it? I think it was April was our, or end of March of 2023 was our, there were first shows at the Italian American Club, and we had 2 back-to-back nights there, and then
Right.
we had a night in August at the Southpoint in the room called the Grandview Lounge, and then we had 3 back-to-back nights for our New Year's show. That's when Lou joined us in Lake Havasu. And then we just had our February 1st gig in the big showroom at Southpoint. We did a couple small things along the way, but it wasn't really Fourmers. It was more like, hey, I hang out with Doug all the time. You want to come do a gig with me?
Right.
So really,
Mhm.
so it was really what is that number? And I wasn't counting along the way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
I think
6,
that was like 5 or 6.
7,
Yeah.
7. So May will be our 8th and 9th shows together.
So with each show, like, do you change up your set list? How do you decide what songs you're going to sing?
Yeah, each show has been slightly different. We change around some of the songs we're singing. You know, we're workshopping certain things, seeing how we like them, seeing how the audience likes them. And then, you know, we've pretty much got the timing down that we like for the length of the show. So yeah, we interject certain things.
How long is it?
We have such a talented team with us, with Peter Fand, and his musical arrangement and his band leader skills are just off the chart. So we're happy to have him.
The show's about 90 minutes. It's a Vegas 90 minutes.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Can we talk about too, like, for all of you with your experience in Vegas, like there's something about having a residency in Las Vegas, whether it's, you know, a solo act or a show. And, you know, now that time has passed since it's closed, but now it's back at the Orleans Theater. Like, when you went to go see it, like, what makes Jersey Boys in Las Vegas specifically special?
Have
in
you
your
have you
mind?
all seen the Vegas production, the new Vegas production yet? I know Doug, you saw it.
Yeah,
I have.
I saw it the same night that Doug did.
Oh, gotcha.
Unless he went again, but I don't
Mhm.
know about Doug. I think the one thing that we talked about after the show, and it's not specific to Vegas, it's that it is the what they've written, what they've created, you know, is just a masterpiece. I mean, we always said, even when we were in Vegas, that a bunch of monkeys could get up on stage and do the show and still and seeing it again with a different cast and different takes on roles, I think, I mean, it just reminded me that's still true. It's just it's from beginning to end, it's so well put together that that I think that's what highlights it. I think in Vegas it's fun because there's you know, Tommy was in town, but since he's passed, I think some of that has probably changed a little bit.
It's nice too that the production at the Orleans, they're doing the entire show. I just think there are very few Broadway musicals that translate well to Las Vegas. Outside of the Smith Center, where we have all of the national tours come into town, you know, the Vegas audience is not New York. It's not Chicago. It's not Los Angeles. It's not built on a sophisticated theater-going audience. But there's just something about what Rick and Marshall wrote, that Four Seasons music, the way it was staged by Des and choreographed by Sergio, that seems to transcend and find a broader audience. It's why it enjoyed all of that success globally that it did for so long. And hopefully, I think as long as Vegas audiences are aware that it's at the Orleans, they're going to go. It's just one of those shows that people connect with. And if they haven't seen it 100 times already, they've certainly heard about it enough to want to go and see it now.
But now in
Longer than
Vegas,
usual.
they go to the Orleans to see Jersey Boys, and then they go see the Fourmers after for a little midnight snack. They go see the Fourmers after.
What a wonderful suggestion.
Like, can there be a package deal? Like, you buy a ticket for the show, and then you get
Although I think we need new material if it's a
Sure.
midnight show. That might be a little.
That's true.
that'd be a
The
great
adult
idea.
version.
Well, I think one of the most amazing things about the Fourmers is that you all are singing Frankie's parts. It's not just, at least from the videos that we've seen, it's like not only it's that's amazing how you guys kind of cycle around the different songs. So how did that kind of come about? Because most of the other groups, they don't, you know,
Like, they stick to their
everyone sings their vocal parts. So
Well, the joke, there's a joke there. I sing the Frankie part, and it's just that when we did the first shows, Dominic wasn't available. He had, had a great opportunity that we told him to sort of go off and do. And we invited Buck Hujab to come and join us, who freely admitted that he's not singing Frankie. And so for Sherry, I sang the Frankie part. And I made a joke about how I lied on my resume during my audition because I actually really wanted to audition for Frankie. And after watching what, all the guys that I've seen do their role have gone through, thank God I didn't get it. But I thought we thought it would be funny if I, complained about singing the bass part and said, I'm going to take lead on this one. And it's one song. So I give Lou full credit for taking out his vice and singing the top part for the entire show. It's really only about a minute and a half that anybody takes that away from him.
I love it.
It's a welcome break to jump into the basement, as you say there, for that one song.
Yeah, Lou actually sings bass on Stay.
Which makes it a little bit funnier as well that we're switching, not just him singing Frankie, but that Frankie is now going to the bottommost part in the vocal lineup. So it really works well with the audience too. It's a fun moment in the show.
Wow. Yes. Well, Lou, we read that you have a 5-octave range, and you're
4.5. No. We use what we got when we've got it, right? So certain days are better than others. But
amen.
It's there. It's a lot of it's there, and I'm very blessed. I do have a pretty wide range, and it's kind of been my little shtick throughout my solo career as well, and it has enabled me to sing the music that I love from Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons, right? So it's come to help me at this stage of the game.
Timing is everything, right? So it's like the fact that it's happening right now for you to be able to do this, I think is great because you've had so much time to explore your voice and see what you really wanted to achieve, and because you achieved so much already, but now you get to do this, so that's really exciting.
You're saying that I needed the 6th audition is what it was. Is that...
not at all.
I'm kidding.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. I didn't even to come out like that at all. But
I'm joking.
That timing means everything. So it's just so cool that.
Well, he's got a lot of range when he complains that some of the stuff is too low. That it's actually it's in the show, and he kind of figure out how to place it because he's singing higher than Frankie ever did.
Oh, really?
It's just the break points from chest to head voice for our musical aficionados out there that know the vocal, pedagogy or whatever.
Where's your passaggio? What note?
Comfortably, it's anything that goes above it. I really have a little bit of a range there as well. So as long as it's above an A flat, I think I can switch. But I could belt up to the D's and E's, so it not all the time and carefully, right? But pop notes. So anything in that range, I got about 2 or 3 to 4 notes that I can leeway or try to choose. But again, it depends on the songs, the vowels, the placements, and this is where I give credit to Frankie, is that he is. I think maybe his break point is lower or whatever it may be, but his transitioning ability is something that I have worked literally this long in my career and I'm still trying to master. And he did it effortlessly as kids off the street, right? And it was just there, period, and all the time. So that's just still blows my mind, just the easy glottal flips, and to do it into his 92 now, what is it? Yeah, I mean, just blows me away.
Well, I hope Frankie can come out and see you. I know he's getting his Hollywood Walk of Fame his hands on next Friday, on May 3rd, on his birthday, on his 90th birthday.
What a time.
Yeah.
What a time for Jersey boys to be running, for the Fourmers to be having their shows.
Yes.
Because Frankie Valli is getting his hands on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
Finally. Yeah.
Yeah, right? Why is it taking so long?
Right. I don't, but Deven, are you hitting those notes too?
Me? Am I hitting those notes? Oh, I'm hitting all the notes. Anything above an A flat. No,
Gotta give you.
Well, luckily, luckily, you know what? When I first heard about Jersey Boys before it opened in La Jolla, I was being asked to audition for Frankie, and I really never wanted to. Because I knew that the music was going to be insane. Because I had done a show called Bat Boy where I sang insanely high music all the time. So it's kind of funny. I wanted to be taller. So, you know, I didn't want to be considered a Frankie, and I wanted to be considered a Tommy. So I had to lie about being taller on my resume, but I don't tell that story. But luckily, I don't have to hit the high notes anymore.
That's being modest. There are plenty of high notes and the harmonies in there that kind of sneak their way in. He's got it.
That's true. That's true. There are.
Unfortunately, I've written a couple of vocal arrangements for and put them up there. I guess I should have asked first, but.
Oh, let's talk about your rehearsals, because you all don't live in the same place.
Well, because
Yeah.
Deven,
Florida
right.
A lot of prep on your own. You know,
Right.
I've been working with the musical director to try to get, you know, tracks for everything, rehearsal tracks, and you know, anything that I've arranged, I export out individual piano parts so that people can, you know, have that to refer to. And you know, Doug and I and Deven, we've all sort of created along the way little videos of choreography, and eventually we'll have our, you know what, together well enough that we can actually have a, you know, everything in a folder for everybody in case, God forbid, we do need a sub, that it's all there. But a lot of it is just sitting at home, going over your music, practicing your stuff, and then as soon as everybody's in town, you know, put it into gear and make it happen.
I perform with a choir from my alma mater in Newark, in the old neighborhood. And so there's people who rehearse on Monday nights. There are people who rehearse on Tuesdays during the day, Wednesdays during the day. We have like maybe 2 or 3 rehearsals with everyone throughout the semester. And then it just all magically comes together, you know, on the day of the show, you know. So it's amazing what you guys do, because it really is, you know, so dependent on everyone's preparation at home. But look,
that's great.
Look at what you guys do together when you come together. It's brilliant.
Yay.
What you guys do. Brilliant. Absolutely.
Well, what can
we have fun.
Yeah.
Good. You're supposed to have fun.
Well, that was really the main point of getting these guys together. Because when Sal called me, you know, Lou had mentioned Sal Cucko earlier as the 5th former, 4/5. 4/5. There we go. We could have been called 4/5. Oh, guys. But he called me up and he wanted to see if I could get some people together to do a show at the Italian American Club. Jeff mentioned that was our first show, and I immediately thought of Jeff, Doug. And had I known Lou, I would have thought about him. But I thought about, you know, Dominic Scaglione. And it's funny because as humble as these guys are, you know, Jeff was like, "Oh gosh, me." Doug was like, "Oh buddy, I think there's other people you'd want to pick before me." But it was about these guys because we have fun together, and you know, we can F up, which stands for Fourmers. We can former up. we can get F together. I have no idea what's happening right now, but I'm getting like somehow I'm getting
the
celebration.
The group brings that energy. Celebration.
Exactly. For some reason. Yeah, thumbs up.
That's
and give it up.
That's really cool.
If I do this, is the disco.
The disco, right? Exactly.
But yeah, so the whole mission with this group was, you know, was to have fun, and so I'm glad that we still are. You know, sometimes we have challenges, sometimes we have things that we have to overcome, and decisions that we have to make that are really fast, but we always end up kind of twisting it together and having lots of fun.
Well, that's beautiful. Yeah. Well, tell us about Sal. So who is he?
Oh, he is the mysterious, lanky genius of it all. No, he's our good friend who actually initially was a big fan of the show. He also sold me a car, but he's somebody who became really a fixture around the area because he's got connections and he knows lots of people, and he was a promoter and entertainer back in New York. And so it's in his blood. So when he saw the opportunity, when he saw a void there, because there was no Jersey in Vegas, there was no jersey in Vegas at that time, so we brought it back, and he saw that there was a need.
Yeah, he had put together like a Night of 100 Vegas strip stars show called Oh,
Yep.
What a Night, that featured like many of the city's biggest headliners, and it was a success. But his light bulb moment was, here I put together this show called Oh, What a Night, and there were no Jersey boys. So I think that's what gave him the initial impetus to call Deven and say, I just kind of had this epiphany moment, and how do you feel about getting some of the Jersey boys together to do some shows in Las Vegas? And then, like Deven said, he called Jeff and I and Dom, and he's not lying. I said, oh, buddy, you can find much more talented than me. But he's one of my dearest friends for a long, long time. And the opportunity to get on stage and reunite with these guys was, if they can forgive my lack of abilities, I can certainly dive in and just treasure the opportunity to be on stage with these guys.
Well, I'm just going to say, Doug has always been, to me, he's always been a great storyteller, and he, he's the punctuation, he's a lot of things in the group, and he's the calming effect, but he rounds, I think he rounds the group out, in my opinion. When I was thinking about people, he rounds people.
One of the things that I would say about being on stage with these guys is that from the very first conversation we had about this, it was about like very much a brotherhood. It was about getting together and hanging out.
And drinking
our
whiskey.
hangout, instead of a bar or living room, happened to be a stage, and it's honestly one of the things that's made this entire process so enjoyable is that when we get through rehearsals, and we got to work hard because that's what you do, but you get on stage and you realize, oh, I get to hang with these guys and listen to them sing and sing with them for 90 minutes. And it's why, traveling and figuring out how to rehearse is worthwhile, because we know that we're going to land there and we get to do this, and it's truly a gift.
Wow.
That's so beautiful.
Salud.
Yes, salud. We love your brotherhood and your friendship, because it's amazing how the show brought so many wonderful people together, like you all.
Mm-hmm.
And Doug,
I have
you're
to add,
still
Sal helped me buy a car too. So.
Oh, Sal sold you a car too, Lou?
Yeah.
But there you go. Listen.
What kind of car? Gotta ask.
It was at the time it was a BMW 7 BMW.
Very cool. Nice. Thank you all for telling us like the why you really wanted to get together. And that's so cool.
Mm-hmm.
Huge shout out to Dom Scaglione Jr. We love Dom. So.
Yes.
And a shout out to Sal. I think we're all glad he made that phone call to Deven, because here we are.
Exactly.
And you know what? I almost didn't pick up, guys. I almost didn't pick up. I was like, Sal, well,
Bobby wants to sell me another car.
That's right. That's right.
I'll add one little extra thing there about Sal, and it actually does have to do with cars, and I'm not mentioning names or anything like that. But I think the biggest thing to take away is that Sal's heart it's like the Grinch after he finally found Christmas. It's like the 10 times of any other man. I mean, he loves very strongly, and sometimes it comes across very strong, but he really does care. And I know other entertainers that couldn't get a set of wheels or whatever it is, and he went out of his way or took away his commissions and got him in a certain car that he goes and tries to help whoever he can, and has been a supporter of not just Jersey Boys and the Fourmers, but all the entertainment around town. He has his fingers in so many different things as just a supporter, even, for other artists. I see him constantly posting on social media, hey guys, check out, someone's doing costumes now, maybe, you're going to look the best if you get theirs, or this and that. And he just really, really goes above and beyond to try to make everything as good as it can be, and everyone as good as they can be, I think. And that's a major role, and he keeps us on our toes.
He has literally missed only one of my daughter's dance competitions. That's the kind of guy Sal is.
Well, go Sal. What a guy.
Yeah. Salud.
There you go.
Hey. Sicilian.
So what can people expect from this set of shows coming up?
On May 15th and 16th.
Well, we're changing stuff up a little bit. So if anybody got a chance to see February 1st, then they'll recognize a few new songs, some new arrangements. But really, the whole show is just we when we first talked about it, and I don't know if it reads or not, but at least as we do it, it is very much about our reconnection. It's what brought us together in the first place. And then sort of all the stuff that we've done in our lives that landed us right back here again on stage. Our favorite music, our favorite music styles, and so we all we of course we give everybody the Four Seasons stuff that they're looking for, but it's also the amount of different types of music that we're singing in 90 minutes is pretty broad, and it's just because we decided to put together a show that was about the four of us and not about Jersey boys. It just so happens that it was a big part of our stories, even Lou's. There's a whole center section of the show that's just about our stories. And Lou's story fits in the same way the rest of ours does. But it's very much from beginning to end about our journey back here.
I wish we could come see it.
I know.
I was going to add to that too, and I think Doug had brought this up on stage during the show, and it's also not just Jersey Boys, but the Vegas cast as well of Jersey Boys, and how Vegas itself kind of has helped continue our careers individually and was the reason for us getting together at this stage of the game. So even the for the diehard, Jersey Boys and Frankie Valli fans, the other material that's in the show, it doesn't come out of left field. Everything's really cohesive because it's either tied to a personal story, another Broadway show that someone's been in, our time on another show stage in Vegas, or it has the Rat Pack and the Vegas vibe. So I think that's also unique to the Fourmers that not any of these other spin-off groups, so you say, are doing, is that we have another cohesive, piece of the show that is Vegas, and we kind of own that, and I think we're the only ones representing it in that way, and that makes it even more special. And for it to be here at the Southpoint in Vegas on the Vegas Strip, we couldn't have asked for a better venue and a spot to present this in that way as well.
Yeah, that harkens back to the very first conversations that we had about doing this. It's, we're fully aware and huge supporters of Midtown Men and Under the Street Lamp and Doo Wop Project. There's no shortage of groups that have sprung out of the Jersey Boys family tree, and they're fantastic. But we also knew that we didn't necessarily want to compete with that or try and be them. And what made us perhaps a little unique was just the fact that we had Vegas to call kind of our central unifying concept. We're older guys. If we can evoke like a contemporary Rat Pack and make the show about us four as individuals, our careers, pay a tremendous amount of tribute and celebration of being a part of Jersey Boys, but also celebrate the fact that we call Vegas our home. And even Deven, who currently lives in Florida, had a house here. Did 2 huge production shows out here in Las Vegas. So I also think it's a concept that will ultimately allow us to be successful outside of town, because everyone, whether in Indiana or Texas or Wyoming or Louisiana, everyone has an idea about Las Vegas. And as long as we can bring a little bit of Vegas to them, I think the show plays.
I totally agree. It's the home element and the Vegas element too, and that's something everyone can relate to. I'm so happy that you're all doing this. It's great, and I hope you tour later this year, whatever you want to do, and whatever your schedules allow.
We may or may not end up on your coast. We'll see.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, for your next, we do want to come out to Vegas soon. So if you perform in Vegas again in the next few months, hopefully we can We can
You'll
be
be
there.
the first to know.
We really
Yep.
want that. Plus, which people go to Vegas for their health all the time, so you know.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Not for the same reasons as they used to, but you sure.
First, whatever health means to you, to the listeners, to you guys, whatever health means,
Yeah.
go to Vegas for your health.
It's
We have a mobile
Right.
IV clinics that will come to your hotel room after your night of health to give you more
Me too.
health, right? Yeah.
And then we'll have some medicine. So then
Yeah, we'll have some medicine.
Yeah.
There you go. This is like a doctor's podcast now.
Yes. Look, do you have any specialty cocktails? Maybe you could have one just called medicine.
Medicine.
Yeah.
You know, I thought about that earlier. Jeff's a big whiskey buff and bourbon now, and I like whiskeys and bourbons, and I think everyone's familiar with Four Roses.
Yes.
And you know, it wouldn't be a bad idea, especially because the Southpoint does have the liquor served there in the showroom, to maybe come up with something. You know, the Fourmers cocktail featuring Four Roses whiskey with a little twist to something. I don't know. You know, that's a little thing that we could market there. That's a nice touch.
There you go.
There you go. And so everyone go get your tickets at Ticketmaster to the Fourmers at the Southpoint Showroom, May 15th and 16th. If you go to the website, southpointcasino.com, you'll be able to see the banner, and it says get tickets now. It'll take you to Ticketmaster and you'll be able to get it there. So
Yes. Shows start at 6:30 and doors open at 5:30.
Yep, doors open at 5:30, shows 6:30.
perfect.
You know what, as well, I mean, if for some people, I know they hang on social media all the time, we have official Fourmers fan pages set up on both Facebook and Instagram, and we're constantly posting the links there as well. But more than just the links, we're posting behind the scenes footage, we're posting stuff from rehearsals, so we're getting a lot of things out there to the public and to our fans that they wouldn't get to see at the show. So if they really want to follow along with all of the extra content that we're doing, it would be a really good idea. And of course, it helps in this day and age to go to the Fourmers pages there, to like, subscribe, do the bell notifications, all that good stuff, because we're constantly putting out new things, short bio blurbs about us individually, a lot of fun things that they would be missing out on if you're not following the social media. So that's a big part of everything that they get to experience, because we want to give as much extra as we can.
And of course, if they don't want to navigate through the Southpoint website, there's also a calendar items on there for events that links you straight to the tickets. So, you know, lots of reasons to come join us. But of course, we would love now for them to go and join us in Southpoint, because there's actually not that many tickets left. I mean, there's 800 seats between the two shows, and we're more than 3/4 of the way there. So we imagine if it's anything like February, there won't be any seats left if you don't get them now.
Yes,
You know,
we'll have everyone. Yeah, get your tickets now and follow them everywhere.
we will link everything on our Instagram as well, on our Facebook, and it'll be in the description on YouTube and in Spotify, wherever you can listen to podcasts, watch podcasts. It'll all be there.
Yes, yeah, we got you covered, everyone. Yes, but everyone, thank you so much for coming on, and we're so excited for you. Break all the legs, and we hope to see you in person soon.
Absolutely.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
There you go.
So I think